Mark, I don't watch enough Penn State football from Anthony. Are you guys as obsessed with man-to-man coverage as Notre Dame, or are you guys more hybrid in your coverage?
So
I think, for example, Oregon should have just played prevent the whole game. I think they would have won. Ohio State, they started fast on offense against Oregon, which is why they smoked them. And I think their defense kind of did what they got to Gabriel. So you either have to play prevent defense against an Oregon team like that, or you just have to get to the quarterback. I mean, he's not tall, he's quick, but he's not that good, Gabriel. You just got to get to him. He was in a good system. So I'm cool with the hybrid. I don't think man-to-man is necessarily the answer. Like what Notre Dame, I think, is going to have to do against Ohio State, they can't go man-on-man with Jeremiah Smith. Texans shut him down. You just gotta out coverage that guy in the sense that you have to put like 2 or 3 guys in his area so he can't do anything. Like you really can't beat that guy one-on-one. He's a freak.
You have to bracket him. Texas bracketed him with 3 defenders. But no, he's asking is Penn State more man-to-man than Notre Dame's defense? And the answer is no. Notre Dame plays like 70% man. Penn State plays like 45, 50% man. So they play a lot of man, but Notre Dame plays more man than anyone in the country. So.
Yeah. All right. Looking on the defensive side would also hurt you guys a little bit was that blown coverage against Notre Dame where that receiver scored the touchdown.
That literally killed the game. We were up a touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he talked about when he slipped. Like Brett just explained, he slipped for a certain reason. It wasn't the turf. He wasn't juked out.
He moved forward. And then it was, and you're not supposed to, and if you're a DB, before the ball snap, you're sitting still. You're standing still. You're not going to move forward. But he had to move forward to let A.J. Harris by. And then that set his feet offset, and he stumbled. So, like, it was an unfortunate thing that happened. It wasn't really, Cam Miller's the one that slipped, but I just an unfortunate thing. If you look at the tape, that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, he slipped. Cam Miller, I don't think he's getting juked out by anybody. He's a very good player.
Yeah, he's better in zone, but
But he went to Rutgers. I don't. That's
just whole start there.
Yeah.
So.
Just because he's a 5-star doesn't mean he develops as quickly as most 5-stars. We know what you mean. Maybe Drew is a late bloomer at quarterback. Yeah, I mean the kid has a ton of talent. He has an amazing frame. He's very accurate. I mean, for example, like against Boise State. When he threw that pass in the corner of the end zone to Tyler Warren.
Insane.
Dude, his feet aren't even set. And that was an extremely accurate ball. His arm is unbelievable. His fundamentals aren't there. He gets flustered. It comes down to being flustered. I think he has a good coordinator in Kotelnicki, better than Yurcich.
By a mile.
At his pros, for sure.
Yeah.
Better than Yurcich. Brady is a good mentor / guy to have on his backside there. Telling him what to do, whispering in his ear. He gets flustered, man. It falls down on Aller. He is a very good quarterback, but he gets flustered. And that's what I mean. Like when I say when he drops back and I don't know where the ball is going, as someone who played football, played quarterback, and someone who has been watching tons and tons of Penn State football throughout the years, he's not a quarterback this year. So far, when he drops back, you're like, oh man, like we were going to make a play. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And that falls on him. Franklin is a player's coach. He kind of lets his guys go out there and play. And we'll just make this our players coming back segment right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the portal / recruiting, and then we'll get into Tom Allen and all that. And then we'll get into the game being re-released again.
Yep.
Who is hitting me up right now?
Vance is back. Nice having you, Vance.
What's up, Vance? I think he is a late bloomer in a sense. He has all the intangibles for sure. He has a cannon. He's accurate. I'll just give you an example. I could throw the ball very hard when I played quarterback. I could throw it far, like had a lot of snap on the ball, but I wasn't accurate. Like, for example, I threw javelin, and I still have a school record in that because I was good at throwing stuff. But that doesn't mean you're accurate. Aller has both. And by no means am I comparing myself to him, not even remotely close. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, just to give you a comparison, he has both.
Yeah. When he doesn't get flustered. Exactly. When he's relaxed, man, he's unbeatable. He really is.
All right, Vance. Are you sad Allen went to Clemson? I didn't like the soft coverages he called after tackles for losses. The opponent's third down percentage was a lot higher than it could have been. Yeah, finishing tackles was an issue this year. Our secondary is very good. But, like, for example, that Jeremiah Love touchdown run, they should have brought him down, and they didn't. I don't know why they were bad with that. I don't think it's even necessarily be like, oh, our guys suck. Like, they can't tackle. Like, no, man. Like, sometimes you just get overpowered. And our secondary was extremely good. They're strong. They're hard hitting. They're very good. They're good at tackling. I saw them in person. And they're big guys. Sometimes you just get overpowered, man. That's one thing Franklin's done. He's put together an extremely good secondary. Yeah, I'm sad he went to Clemson. For me, we'll get into Allen leaving, but I just wish these coordinators would stay, man. Now he had reasons to leave, personal reasons.
Family.
But that's one thing to Franklin's credit. Justin King said this too. One of Franklin's strong suits is getting good coordinators, and then they leave. You know, that sucks. Like, I want them to stay. Joe's staff was the same staff for like 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, he had guys on his staff that never left. So, like Fran Ganner, then it was Galen Hall, and then it was Dick Anderson never left. Coach Kenny was there. Larry Johnson, Vanderlinden, Kermit Buggs, Mike McQuarrie. Like, holy crap, man. Jay Paterno, which, you know, he's not the best example, but they never left. They were good enough to leave. Jerry Sandusky could have been a head coach. He was going to be a head coach, but he didn't leave. And for those of you in the comments that make Sandusky jokes, like, that's just, like, really? Like, you're making those kinds of jokes. That's the best you can do.
And still.
It's just, that's a total lack of that just shows me how unintelligent you are if you're making jokes like that. Like, first of all, it's not something to joke about. You know, the man that got blamed and Joe Paterno did what he had to do, and that's it. It's the only person to blame there is the person that is in prison. So, all right. For me, the camp I have for Drew, he reminds me of Dak Prescott for the Cowboys.
No, I don't see that
Dak
at all.
Prescott's way worse.
Yeah. The comp for him is Josh Allen if he can touch everything up. That's the comp for him. The size, the talent.
I just want to make a comparison here real quick between Mike Tomlin and James Franklin, because I'm a Steelers fan. At least James Franklin wins games he's supposed to, and at least he wins in the postseason. Mike Tomlin does not do that. He's a clown, and he needs to be fired.
He should be fired.
He's horrible, and he's responsible for everything that has happened to the Steelers. Terrible drafting. I'm not saying Mike Tomlin's a bad coach. He's not a bad coach, but he does not win postseason games, and he needs to go somewhere else. He's horrible when it comes to building a solid team.
Mm-hmm.
And all of his Tomlinisms are very stupid and annoying. It's like, you know, we play JV ball, they played varsity. It's like, dude, just can you stop? Seriously, you're not. You have all these like sayings and philosophies. Like, okay, that's fine, but you don't win postseason games, so just stop with it. It's like his comment about the postseason against the Ravens, like, this is a bag I tote, and I don't expect anybody to tote this bag with me. I love toting this bag myself. It's like, you love toting the bag yourself. What? You love losing in the playoffs? Like, his ego is insane. Yeah, Drew needs a completely clean pocket in order for him to be successful. I don't think he's good under pressure. That's why I think we need a running quarterback. Franklin's always been good with running quarterbacks. Why he does, and this is just more proof that he lets his coordinators do it, because Franklin, man, Joe Moorhead, like when you have a running quarterback, I just think he should always have running quarterbacks, Franklin. I think Franklin was a running quarterback himself, pretty much. He was a good quarterback. So I think that just fits him better. I don't know why he doesn't, besides the fact that he just lets his coordinators, he gets quarterbacks for his coordinators. But Franklin, the running quarterbacks, man, like peanut butter and jelly, they just go together. They just need to just go together, man. Like it's like apple pie and baseball,
Well, Drew, he made a lot of improvements with this running this year, for sure. I mean, he kept us, let's say 3rd and long. He made some first downs with his feet, and he also did some design, pulled the ball and ran it in the end zone against Oregon. He had 6 or 7 rushing touchdowns this year, so not as much as like Jalen Milroe, like 15, 18 rushing touchdowns, but he's definitely somewhat of a threat with his legs. He got a little bit faster than he was. I think they have to do it more, but at the same time, you don't want him to get hurt because then you got to throw a freaking true freshman in there. Well, it'll be redshirt freshman now, but yeah.
And we got guys coming in, man, that could battle for second. Anthony asked this question last night. Do you guys think it was an instant reaction for some Penn State fans after the loss to Notre Dame, even though it was close one to call for James Franklin to be fired? I mean, they do that every year. I don't think firing Franklin is the answer. I gave him this year and next year. If he doesn't appear in a national title, then like you have to question his ability to ever do it. This next year's roster is insane. Which is why I said last year that if it doesn't happen this year or next year, then you have to consider it. They came close this year.
In 20
I don't think firing him is the answer.
Yeah. In 2022 or 2023, there were a lot of us fans saying 2025 might be the year when Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, Drew Aller, that wonderful 2022 class we had, top 5 recruiting rankings.
They did. So
yeah, we said if they come back, 2025 is going to be a huge year, and it was a huge year. We were this close to playing for a natty. So they almost exceeded expectations, very close to making that happen. So now they have to redeem themselves in 2025 this year. So
yeah, like again, to use the Steelers as an historic example, 04 season, they lost in the AFC Championship to the Patriots. Big Ben's rookie year, threw an interception at the end, blew the game. Well, he didn't blow the game, but that ended the game. The next year they were in the Super Bowl and they won. 08, probably the best team all year, and they won the Super Bowl. 2010, they made it to the Super Bowl and lost. I mean, they just were one game away from the national championship. So to say that they can go back and make it this time, I think is a very strong possibility. But to me, man, like for me, I'm a James Franklin critic. I'm not a hater. I know he wants to win. And I know how much the guy wants to win. He loves Penn State. He loves his players. I know he wants it more than probably any of us combined. Doesn't mean he's good at it on game day, but he wants it. And for that, I respect him. So with James Franklin as the head coach, with his drive, his passion, he said in his opening presser when he came here, I don't get a lot of sleep. I don't need it. He's the guy that can orchestrate it. Again, he's the Henry Ford of college football. He may not be good at some things, but he has the buttons to press for everyone else to get it done. Thanks for commenting, guys. We're going to keep pulling them up. Instead of letting the game settle in and reviewing it before letting emotions get the best of you. Yeah, I mean, every fan's going to do that. They're all going to say, and I used to be like that. But I don't think firing him is the answer, man. I mean, look at what he's built. He's done a ton at Penn State that a lot of people don't see. Good recruiting of coaches, players, new facilities. They're continuing to expand on that. The weight room, which is insane. James Franklin said it's the best weight room in college football. I don't really agree with that. It's very nice, but it's not the best. I think Alabama has the best.
It's top 5. Josh Pate works for CB. Josh Pate, he gets to work out there when he comes up, and he said it's very good. So
I've been in there a lot of times, man.
The new one?
As someone who's been a trainer for over 10 years and someone who's been bodybuilding for over 10 years, it's not the best, but it's very nice. Very, very
You-
nice. Very nice.
You've been in there since they updated it, the weight room?
Oh, yeah, a couple times. It's awesome.
Nice.
Definitely a good place to work out if you like working out. But we can't because we're not. I mean, you could sneak in there probably. All right. Yeah, I agree, Anthony. People need to kind of calm down a little bit. Notre Dame fans, let them freak out. Like, Notre Dame fans, act like you've been there before. That's my biggest thing with that fan base. It's like you guys are talking crap and you won when you're not even supposed to have won, and you're still talking crap. It's like you guys have no idea what it is to win because you don't even know how to win. You don't win with class. You guys are clowns. Seriously. Like, it's unbelievable. Act like you've been there before. That's how I know you guys have never won anything meaningful recently, because you're clowns. Like, you act like you've been there. like act like you've been there, man. Like, we don't talk crap to Ohio State fans if we beat them. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
But the last title they won was in '88. We won one in '86. Again, it's just like, act like you've been there, Notre Dame. Like, you guys are freaking clowns. That's the issue with today's college football coaches are not loyal in general. You're never going to see a staff be one place for 15 to 20 years like you saw in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yeah, it is different now. I think the product overall, which is why I'm not the biggest fan of the NFL, the product, it just isn't a good product anymore. They went political. Yeah, just like fundamentals, man, like Drew Aller's footwork, ability to read progressions. Like, that's across the board of college football, the lack of fundamentals, lack of a good product. It's nice having a conversation with rational Penn State fans. I have irrational ones around me that panic over every little mistake. Yeah, I don't really blame them, but yeah, you're right, Anthony. I mean, Manzano, is that Italian? Manzano, is that how you say that? Manzano, maybe.
Manzano.
As I've said on here before, my roommate from college, he's Italian. He's from New Jersey. And I was with him recently, and his family's awesome. I love my New York and I love my New York and New Jersey people. They're great.
He said it's Spanish.
Oh, it's Spanish. Okay.
Yeah.
My last name is Leskovansky. What do you think that is, Anthony?
German or?
And I was with my roommate recently. He was with his wife's family, actually. And there was this one guy there that looked like Castellano from The Godfather. It was great. All right, hold on. I need to. Yeah, Castellano. He looked like Castellano. It was pretty funny. But yeah, we're rational. We try not to get emotional. Well, I mean, we do for sure, but yeah, we just try to keep it in perspective. We're real fans, so no Spanish. You're not the first person to assume that my last name is Italian. That is a question for you too. If you had a choice between Clemson, Miami, and Florida State, everything be in the equal, who would you rather have, and who's actually in the big town the most? Who's culturally in the big town the most?
I don't really know what he's at. Did he say Big Ten or
everything be in the equal? Who would you rather have, and who it's culturally in the Big Ten the most?
Is he asking Big Ten? Like, would we want one of those teams in the Big Ten?
Who culturally would fit in the Big Ten the best?
Okay.
Well, Miami and Florida State, definitely not Miami.
Clemson.
But I mean, I'd be cool if they were in. Clemson, Florida State, I think would fit in well. Clemson, they've had recent success. They weren't really that successful from what I remember before Dabo Swinney.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind Clemson being in the Big Ten. I wouldn't want Miami.
I don't know if Cade Klubnik's coming back, but with Tom Allen going there, that's a huge sign.
They
might be in the playoff hunt next year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Miami definitely wouldn't, even though I would welcome them with open arms. Clemson would, but I would rather have a more successful program. But Clemson would. Florida State probably would. It's just hard to gauge.
There. It's hard to gauge Florida State after them having such a good season 2 years ago to one of the worst seasons we ever seen, 2-10 last year. So I don't know what to think of Florida State right now. They need a complete rebuild to get back to where they were. I don't know what to expect out of them now because that's just a wild thing that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So
Miami has no defense until they play defense. I don't want to see them in a conference that plays good defense, which is the Big Ten. Miami does not play
Miami,
defense.
it is because of the arrogance of the fan base, or you don't think how they're building a team would fit them. They've just always been like a wild program.
They have an ACC team. They don't play
Yeah,
defense.
like lots of just bad stuff. I mean, just watching the documentaries, they're not the classiest program. Have had a lot of rough things happen. Yeah, so I just don't like the Big Ten is the Big Ten, man. It's a pretty classy conference. It's the Northeast. When you think of college football, for me, the Mecca is Penn State. Well, it is the Mecca for me, and that's just a fact. Even though all of you disagree, well, most of you disagree. Ohio State, you think of Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, you think of recently Alabama, but like Texas, Notre Dame, that's who you think of when you think of college football. USC, but Miami I just don't think they'd be a good fit.
No.
All right. So that's why we say no to Miami. So same segment here, players returning. Aller's coming back, which we were very, very fond of.
Yep.
My question mark to Brett was, do Singleton and Katron come back? They both come back?
Yep.
I
said I think they both come back.
All right. I'm going to pull up the roster tracker here.
There were a couple surprises. Like, my sources are pretty good on who I thought was going to come back, but you never know with Denied Dennis Sutton. Zane Durant, like, them coming back is just huge for our defensive line. So, very much needed. They're both freaks, so.
Absolutely. All right. So, Penn State roster tracker, where Nittany Lions stand with 2025 player decision transfer movement. All right. So, yeah. So, there have been departures for the draft. Abdul Carter, Cam Miller left for the portal. Singleton, Katron, Deny all come back. King Mack has come back. So, we'll just get into the portal right now, too, Brett, I guess.
Yeah, I got some notes here whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull up the overlay here real quick. So we'll do players returning in one segment, and then we'll just do the portal guys with Brett too, recruiting, whatever. Recruiting portal, I kind of think that's kind of the same thing. But
same thing, yeah.
All right. So my question marks were Aller, does he come back? He did. Bigger question marks, Singleton and Katron, they both come back. Yep. King Mack has returned, which is awesome. He's a freak.
Quick.
He's one of my favorite recruits from that class. So draft eligible returning, QB Drew Aller. Where'd he go? Katron Allen, Nick Dawkins, Dom DeLuca, Denai, Zane Durant, Tyler Dzansky, JB Nelson, Gabe Nwasu, Nick Singleton, Riley Thompson, Smith Vilbert, Zakee Wheatley. Yep. Huge. Zakee Wheatley is probably going to be our best guy next year. He's a freak.
He's
Jalen Kimber
16, left.
Yeah. Ice Barker is coming back. Abdul left. Jalen Kimber left, which I kind of thought Jalen Kimber should have come back, but Kobe King left. KJ Winston left. I wish KJ would come back too, but he was out all season.
Kimber played 5 years too, though, so that's a lot of college. I don't blame him for leaving. And we have very good, talented cornerbacks who are going to be ready to go. So,
real quick, you guys in the comment section, can you tell me if you can hear this? I've been trying to fix this where you guys can hear this stuff. Can you tell me if you can hear this?
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Little stiff.
I can hear it.
You got a job interview?
I'm
Sounds
going
good.
to FanDuel.
Can you hear that, Vance? Can you hear that? 7 people listening. Can you hear it? If it loads.
Where's Alyssa at?
Let me be a kicker.
Yeah,
Like I always dreamed.
he doesn't know we're on. That's why he's not on. I think he said he's
exactly.
driving on Saturdays.
Okay.
Guys, can you hear that?
Quarterback like me and Dad. The FanDuel kick of destiny is my destiny, Peyton.
Right, if you can hear it, then you should be able to hear it. You can hear it, right?
I can hear it good, yeah.
Does it sound clear?
Yep. It does.
That's my brothers. So last game of the season, some of the seniors are going to be gone.
Okay.
I miss my brothers.
When I talk about the fourth quarter, back and forth, I mean, this is, big time game, and you guys just trading punches. What's it like to be part of a game like that? Obviously, it hurts to lose it at the end, but
Okay, I thought that was something else. But yeah, these guys are all coming back, which is awesome. And before we get into the portal / recruiting, this is huge, man. They have their sights set on next season. This is a player's team. James Franklin is a player's coach. These guys coming back is freaking massive. So yeah.
Two biggest leaders from last year is Drew Aller and Nick Dawkins.
And then
that's amazing.
Some departures are receivers. Trey Wallace.
Amari Evans.
One of them. Amari Evans. Two of the worst guys left. So the only thing we've lost are the obvious to the draft, and then our worst position group, receivers. So, So Brett, again, full breakdown here. Portal.
Yeah.
Who did we get? We got two receivers. We got these new guys.
Yeah. So we got
receivers.
We have a total of 6 guys from the portal already, and we're still going to look in the spring. So that's about right. Usually we bring in like 5 to 6. So, and they're solid players from what I've seen. So we got the receivers. Obviously, we got Kyron Hudson. We talked about him a little bit from USC. The good thing about him is he's a physical receiver off the line. He's not fast. He's not very fast, but he goes up and grabs the ball. He gets contested catches. His percentage on contested catch rate last year was very good. So he would basically be replacing Trey Wallace, but Trey Wallace didn't go up and get the ball. He wanted it to fall in his hands, which sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So I think Kyron Hudson will be an upgrade there. We'll have to see. It's a wait-and-see thing. I do want to touch on Wallace and Amari Evans real quick. Amari Evans leaving made sense. He's kind of a one-trick pony, and nothing against him, but he's a zone beater. He finds his way through the zone and gets the deep ball, but when it comes to like the short routes and getting open, he doesn't do it. He just doesn't do it, and it sucks. But good luck to him. I've met him before, so he was a nice guy. So good luck to Amari Evans wherever he goes. And the Trey Wallace hurt a little bit because even though he couldn't get open against Notre Dame, you still had some evidence that he could make some plays here and there. You know what I mean? So like it stings that he left, but I think what we needed was a full reset, and that's what we're getting. The only people who stayed so far is Liam Clifford, and that played. And that's the only one that played last year who's staying is Liam Clifford. So maybe he can get better. We'll have to see. And then Devontae Ross, the lazy comparison would be Tez Johnson because he's from Troy. Tez Johnson didn't even put up the numbers at Troy that Devontae Ross did. So Devontae Ross is a very quick, speedy 5'11". The problem with him is he's only like 162 pounds. So think about how small KJ Hamler was. This guy's like an inch or two taller than Hamler, and he's 10 pounds lighter than what Hamler was. So get Chuck Losley in there. I think he can make it happen. If he puts on 10 pounds, I think that's all he needs. He needs to put on a few pounds, though, because off the line, you got to be physical. You got to get open. So, but he had over 150 yards against Iowa, 2 touchdowns. So that's very promising because Iowa always has a good secondary. So, yeah, Devontae Ross, I think it would be like an upgraded version of Amari Evans. So I think we're getting a better player there overall. I think we're going to keep looking in the portal for receivers. We're not just going to get anybody to get anybody. Penn State does not do that. We all know that. Penn State's only going to get a guy if they have faith and they think they see something in them. Obviously, we haven't had luck with receivers as of recent. The last one that panned out was Mitchell Tinsley. Mitchell Tinsley, no, he didn't have a crazy year, but he was reliable. He made some plays when we needed them. So we just need somebody to make plays. So the receivers is kind of a wait and see, but I'm excited for the guys we got, and I trust the staff. Let's not forget about Tyser Denmark, true freshman this past year. Very quick and short area quickness, like a slot guy. He'll be a redshirt freshman this year coming up, so I think he'll try to get some playing time. I think he'll get it. I think he'll get in the lineup. And then, man, I mean, Anthony Ivy, can he step up? He's still with the program. He's only had a few chances. Obviously, he dropped a wide open ball from Bo. Is what it is. I think he can get better. So we'll have to wait and see. The receivers.
My favorite guy.
What?
Anai White, the guy on the screen. He's probably my favorite guy. Tall and lanky.
Yep, Anai White. Yeah, I forgot to put him in here.
I love those tall, lanky DNs, man.
Yep. So moving on, our most recent portal additions that we have not talked about yet is TJ Shanahan from Texas A&M, offensive lineman, interior guy. As a true freshman, guys, he played 9 out of 12 games. That's impressive. He played 9 out of 12 games as a true freshman at center and guard. And I watched his tape, watched the film breakdown from Landon Tangwell. He's a very smart player as a true freshman. Very smart. So check that out. TJ Shanahan he'll be added to an offensive line group that is the best since Franklin has been with us. This past year was our best O-line by far in Franklin's tenure. And it's only going to get better with the guys coming back and the guys we added. So very excited for the offensive line. We're going to do outside zone against anybody, and it's going to work. We did outside zone against Notre Dame, and we ate. We ate all day. So we also added, I wish it was Owen Waffle, but it's actually pronounced Wafel. So we got Owen Wafel from Michigan, defensive lineman. 6'2", 300 pounds already as a true freshman. He redshirted, so he'll have 4 years of eligibility remaining. He's from New Jersey. He's probably going to need to develop still, but it'll be a good depth piece for maybe next season. So very good pickup from the staff. Excited about that one. Anaya White from Texas A&M. So, yeah, we got 2 Texas A&M guys, which is pretty cool. The TJ Shanahan, the offensive lineman, is actually from Florida. So, obviously, we have good connections in Florida with recruiting, so that really helped us to get him from Texas A&M. Anaya White is from Philadelphia. Obviously, we have very good connections in Philadelphia. Our main guy who can recruit down there is Deion Barnes. He's from that area, so he's very good at recruiting down there. Anaya White's battled some injuries, so his stats aren't going to jump off the page for you. He only played in a couple games last year. But Deion Barnes is already one of the best defensive line coaches in the country, and he's new. He's new at that, but he played the position. So I trust what he's going to do with our defensive linemen. Anaya White's like 6'5", 255 or something. He's got the length. He could probably put on a few pounds with Chuck Lovesley, and I see that happening. So excited about him. Maybe if he doesn't start, he'll still be a good depth piece with Denai Dennis Sutton, Max Granville, Smith Vilbert. I'm already feeling better about the defensive line after these announcements happened. Don't you think, Mark? I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Oh,
so.
yeah, absolutely.
And then Alonzo Ford, he got hurt in the Wisconsin game. He was starting to flash, like he was starting to really bully people. So Alonzo Ford should be coming back. He has 1 year left, so I think he'll be a starter with Zane Durant, to be honest with you. Who's going to take Alonzo Ford's spot? You got Caleb Artis. He'd be a redshirt sophomore now. He's like 325 pounds. He's a big guy. He's like a PJ Mustipher type, really big body. So he could take on some double teams. We'll have to see how he progresses. But, yeah, that's the transfer portal / recruiting update. We have 2026 recruiting class that's looking. We're like top 3 right now. We have a lot of guys that are going to commit soon, or we have crystal balls thinking that we can get some guys soon. So be on the lookout for 2026. This class is going to be very good, I can assure you. Should we talk about the that's all I got for the transfer portal update right now. I guess we could do defensive coordinator search, stuff like that.
Yeah. I'll pull up the 2026 commits real quick, but yeah, we're getting some good guys in the portal for sure. Like Brett just broke down. Again, and White, he's one of my favorites, but I can't wait until we get an updated depth chart so we can see what we're dealing with that receiver. But like you said, there's some guys that'll step up. Anthony Ivy, Liam Clifford comes back, even though he's not outstanding. Yeah. But 2026 already off to a good start, man. Matt Seg, safety, 4-star. Kevin Brown, freak, 4-star guy. Messiah Mickens, running back, another freak.
He's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's top. He's like a top 60 player or something. It's insane.